Dante Poe, ooh, I want Dante Poe. Ooh, Jerome McCall, I gotta get him, gotta get him. That's what he does every single year, not knowing, okay, yeah, these are big names, but are they gonna fit with what Mike Nolan's gonna really be trying to do? Nah, but I just need the name. As long as I got the name, people will recognize the name, they'll watch the Cowboys. Okay, get that. Also, Jerry does not realize, or he's starting to realize now, that a value for a player, especially a player of Dak, does not just resonate on the field. You see how this team is completely falling apart in the locker room, Skip. It's things like that Tom Brady and Peyton Manning has always gotten credit for, that you're starting to see. You know what? Dak was the de facto leader of this team.
Not de facto. I mean, he just flat out was.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the guy. He was the glue that held this thing together. And sometimes you have to pay extra for that. So if you pay Tom Brady $30 million a year, let's just say you give him $30 million. You probably should pay him $40, because that extra 10 was because he's going to hold it together in the locker room, and problems that would normally arise that the coach would have to deal with, it never makes it. That's what the real leaders do, Skip. They make sure the coach, there are certain things the coaches should never have to hear about, because the leaders take care of that before it ever makes it up to the second floor. Nah, that's not what Jerry did, Skip. You cannot use injuries, because there are a lot of teams that beat the hell.
Agreed.
Skip, is there anybody more beat the hell than the Eagles? With 3 receivers, their entire offensive line, their running back. Now, granted, they still have Wentz in there, but I don't know how he come back and play every single week with all the hits and the sacks that he's been taking. Skip, at some point in time, we got to stop blaming the coaches. And I don't, like I said, I don't really know Mike McCarthy. Some say he's a great, but Aaron Rodgers seemed to have soured on him. It seemed to have got stagnant the last couple of years in Green Bay, and they wanted to move in a different direction. But, Skip, I want to show you something last night. There was a play last night in the Rams game. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a brand-new defensive coordinator. And they had no offense because Wade Phillips was there. I want you to watch this play on 4th down. And I want you to watch Jalen Ramsey. I want you to watch Lewis. I want you to watch how they do this. Can we, Jim, we have that? Now, this is Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is a 200-pound. He takes on a tackle, a 320-pound tackle. It's called setting the edge. In lay terms, it's called containment. He says, I refuse to give up my outside shoulder. You will turn this ball back inside. Lewis is right there fighting the tight end over the top, and you watch the safety hit it. Simple as that, Skip. What's your responsibility? Jalen Ramsey says, I am not giving up my outside shoulder. Lewis says, I'm going to continue to fight over the top. Safety says, I'm coming down here right now. A 4th and 1 turned into a -2-yard game.
Quick question. Did the Cowboys have a Jalen Ramsey?
No, Skip.
Do they?
Skip, you know what? In a situation like this, it's not about who you have, it's displaying your responsibility. If you got contained, you don't let your outside shoulder you don't let your outside arm get caught. If that's your responsibility, that's it, Skip. Because what are cornerbacks known for? Man, that joker's going to tackle. Man, he ain't trying to get mixed with it. He's trying to get picks. Jalen Ramsey says, I got a responsibility. Normally, when a tackle pulls, DBs hit the ground, they try to cut his legs out from under. But Jalen knows if I do that, he's going to keep to the edge. He's going to get the first down. He says, no, I'm going to stand my ground. That's what you have to have, Skip. You have to have players that's willing to accept responsibility and do their job. You can't say, Skip, this defense doesn't fit my personality if you don't hit your gap. If you don't, I can't say, Skip, man, you know, this Ravens offense don't fit my skill set. If I drop a pass, if I blow an assignment, I can't use that as an excuse. That is the difference in what you're seeing now, Skip.
Yet, last night, speaking of, I saw the great Jalen Ramsey twice get smoked by a rookie receiver where he bid on a stutter go. And I'm like...
And he bid on the out and up.
Yeah, and what if Nick Foles has just a half second more? Half second more.
That's Nick Foles. That's Nick Foles. Nick Foles, the only Nick Foles.
Wait, you mean the Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles, who played 2 of the greatest playoff games you've ever seen? That guy?
Yeah, that guy.
You give him 1 more second, and that ball is on the money.
But the really good ones, Skip, they make that.
By the way, how great was Jalen Ramsey just a week ago at San Francisco when they trailed 21-6 in the second quarter?
Skip.
I'm just asking.
Skip. Okay. I'm just talking about there are instances.
Okay. And you're right about all those, but I can't put any credence in any one of them because this team from the start, from the game against Jalen Ramsey out here to open the game, the seasons, on Sunday Night Football, this team started quitting on its new head coach and especially its new defensive coordinator.
If you just got to the season, you the first game and you quit already?
It was already happening in camp practice when nobody on defense could figure out what Mike Nolan was trying to teach them. He kept changing. Let's do that. No, let's do that. No, I think today let's try this. He seemed overmatched. There was a series, like a parade of veteran DBs, especially safeties, who just said, I don't know what he's talking about. Clinton Dix clashed with him right away, and they cut him for Mike Nolan because Mike Nolan's a guru. He's been around this league for 30 years coaching defense. And then Brandon Carr, not a great player, but he'd started every game he had ever played in this league, every game, including all 16 games, for the Ravens last year. He clashed with Mike Nolan early, and they whacked him and sent him on his way. You can't tell me that Earl Thomas wouldn't have helped this team, and I got all the baggage, and you're dead right about all that, and maybe it would have been too much, but I'm talking about desperation here. Would Earl Thomas have helped this defense? You know he would have because it's the worst defense potentially in the history of pro football. Well, Mike Nolan, trust me, he was first in line to say, Jerry, no, I don't want to coach that guy because he's got ties to Baltimore. He knows where all the bodies were buried with Earl Thomas. He wanted no part of that. So Mike Nolan wanted to be the dictator of the defense. You're going to do it my way or the highway. And a lot of players after 2 weeks said, we'd rather be on the highway. Most of the negative quotes, I'm sure probably all of them, came from the defensive side of the ball. Now, quickly to your point about Dak. I love Dak Prescott. And you're right, he's the unquestioned leader of the locker room, the huddle, the franchise. And they do miss that steady sort of guiding hand, just that voice in the locker room that says, hey, we can figure this out. Let's not overreact to this. Shannon, Dak Prescott, in his last 17 games before he unfortunately, knock on wood, got hurt, I hope he bounces back quickly, he was 6-11 as the Cowboy starter in his previous 17 games. And he was the starter on opening night when they fell quickly behind to the Rams 7-0. Opening drive, the Rams went 75 yards in 7 plays, and it was 7-0.
Right.
Isn't that just sort of the theme of the whole season?
Yep.
Atlanta, they fell behind 20-0 after 1 quarter and were down 29-10 at half. And you know that miracles had to happen for them to win that game. Then at Seattle, they're down 30-15 in the 3rd quarter. They almost rallied, but Dak couldn't quite get them home. And then the Browns, they were down 41-14 in the 3rd quarter. That's unacceptable. That's just wrong.
Right.
And then finally, the Giants, while Dak was still afloat, they fell behind 17-3 early in that game.
Right.
It's just wrong. The Giants are the Giants, and they were really bad at that point. They're starting to try to figure some things out. They were just bad. And then Arizona, obviously, they fell behind quickly. It was 21-3 after a quarter. It was 31-3 in the 3rd quarter. It was abysmal. It was an embarrassment, and then you know what happened at Washington. I don't even need to start on that. Quit. So let's go back to preseason. Pro Football Focus said I think they had 3 most underrated teams in pro football, and this was one of them.
Yes.
Consensus pick to win the NFC East was the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
Dak was, I think, the 3rd best.
The 3rd or 4th best odds of MVP.
I think Fox Bet had him 4th, but I think Caesars had him at 3rd for MVP. The team is loaded. The team's got a chance. A lot of people were, some people picked them to win the NFC. I wasn't going to go that far. I said 10 wins. I now, at this moment, seriously, from my heart, I don't see how they'll win one more game because the only 2 I would give them a shot in are Washington on Thanksgiving. Do you remember what happened last Thanksgiving when I thought they could beat Buffalo at home? Do you remember what Buffalo did to them?
Yep.
Buffalo annihilated them and embarrassed them on the biggest national stage of the year.
That's 2 Thanksgivings in a row y'all got annihilated. San Diego did that to y'all 2 the year before.
They sure did. That was with no Zeke, and Dak was really having a hard time, but that was a humiliation. Okay, so the same Washington team that just destroyed Dallas at Washington, do you really think that my team can beat them on Thanksgiving? Because I don't see any hope there. Then the other game is at Joe Burrows. Is he playing great for a rookie?
Yeah.
I mean, just great.
I don't know about how good his defense is, but I know he can light your defense up.
Okay. So you look at what Cincinnati has done this year. I know they're only 1-5-1. They've only lost one game badly, and that was at Baltimore, and there's no shame in that.
Exactly.
Because every other game, it's by 3 to the Chargers when they led going to the fourth quarter, and then they tied Philly, and then they beat Jacksonville by 8, and they lost a game by 4. Then they lost the Browns by 3. Every game has been fairly close except for Baltimore.
Right.
Do you really think my team can go to Cincinnati and beat them? Because that kid is going to throw a party on my defense. Just
Skip,
watch.
The thing is, when you look at it, okay, you look at your personnel, you evaluate your personnel. And Dallas has a personnel to play a 4-man front. Well, Mike Nolan really likes to base out of a 3-man.
Okay.
So that means.
And he wanted people standing up instead of hand in dirt.
Right.
Okay.
Because he wants to be, because D-Law would really need to play a 5 technique.
Yep.
Like a J.J. Watt.
Yep, I agree.
That's what he would really
Okay.
need, instead of that cowboy
Right.
front, the
Okay.
9 in.
Okay, so to me, in the end, even after the line got decimated, the offensive line, you still have a second rounder at guard and a second rounder who just came in at the other guard.
Right.
And the center's a fairly high
He's the
pick.
third rounder, right? Biotish?
Biotish was
A
the
third or fourth?
fourth. I think he was fourth
Okay.
round. Tyler Biotish from Wisconsin. I think he's a pretty good player. And Cam Irving's over here on the left side. He was once the 14th overall pick, and then you've got an undrafted free agent over
But you
on
know
the right
he's.
side.
You remember the thing that I remember about Cam Irving was on that Monday night game against Aaron Donald.
I know.
You remember that?
I do. No, I got it. But he was just going to be a quality backup,
Right.
like Andy Dalton was the best backup quarterback in the league.
The
right?
backup is the best player on the team until he has to play.
Okay, all right, I got it. The point is, they're way better than what I just demonstrated to you.
You think so?
And to me, I still have to blame the two Mikes, Mike McCarthy, Mike Nolan. For whatever reason, it never clicked. This team never responded to either one of them. I've already called for Mike Nolan's job. He embarrassed me again yesterday. We'll talk about it later with the Tabasco incident in which he just sort of touches his eye and gets Tabasco sauce in his eye
happened.
trying to do a Zoom press
The
conference.
man was eating wings.
I guess he was eating wings. What, he has no business even eating anything right now. He should be on bread and water. He should be.
That's a shame, Skip.
Hey,